If you have anxiety and you struggle with difficulty swallowing, and I'm talking where it feels like it's completely paralysed, you chew your food, you go to swallow and you cannot swallow no matter how hard you try, then please stop and watch this video. I'm going to explain in this video how swallowing works, how anxiety and the nervous system completely disrupt the entire process, and how the brain and neuroplasticity take over to kind of make this a semi-permanent state so you can have this even when you don't feel anxious. Now, swallowing is way more complex than you might think, and it involves three main stages. So I'm going to go over these three stages first because it's important that we understand the body, we understand the nervous system, so that we can then understand why all this has become a problem. So the first stage is under our conscious control. It's entirely voluntary. So the first stage is where we put the food in our mouth, we chew the food, and then we use our tongue, which is controlled by the hypoglossal nerve, to push it to the back of our throat, ready for the swallowing reflex to kick in, which is the next stage. So that first stage is all under our conscious control. And none of us really have a problem with that. It's when it gets to the back of the throat that our problem kicks in. Now, the second phase is where our problem really starts. So this is the pharyngeal phase. As the food reaches the back of our throat, the swallowing reflex kicks in, or should kick in. Now, the vagus nerve plays a massive part in this, and there's also another nerve called the glossopharyngeal nerve. Now, this all coordinates the muscles in our throat to close our airways, move the food down, and to protect the trachea, so where we breathe through. Now, this is all part of the autonomic nervous system, and it's controlled by the swallowing centre in part of the medulla in your brain stem, or the medulla oblongata. Now, phase 3, which again is entirely autonomic, is the esophageal phase. Now, the enteric nervous system, which is a branch of the autonomic nervous system, takes over at this point. The vagus nerve helps to control the sort of smooth muscle transitions and contractions that move the food down into the stomach, through the esophagus, down into the stomach. So this is all autonomic. But the bit we really struggle with is phase 2, kind of initiating that swallowing reflex. Now, this whole process happens pretty quickly, right? If you don't have a problem swallowing, it happens pretty quickly, and normally you don't even think about it, you enjoy your food, and everybody's happy. But anxiety can and does disrupt the entire process. So let's move on to why that happens.